Anne, should we turn to you in this piece of research that the Taxpayers Alliance has put out recently about another crazy knock-on effect of our out-of-control asylum policy, particularly focusing on social care? Do you want to tell us about the kind of headline numbers and insights you found here?
So we had a paper out beginning of this week looking into asylum seeker social care costs in local authorities and comparison between what they were in 2019 and what they are in 2024-25. And headline figure had gone from 300 million to 750 million. So more than doubled, £750 million spent by local authorities on just social care for asylum seekers. Now, a big part of that is social care for children. So 600 million of that 750 million is social care for children within asylum-seeking families and unaccompanied asylum-seeking children. That's at about 280 million and 320 million each. And then the other factor in that is 135 million on adult asylum seeker social care, which has gone up by 165% since 2019. So all of these three categories have risen dramatically. But the issue is that it's not, obviously the fact that we're spending this amount of money, vast amounts of money, it's on top of what the Home Office is spending on hotels, which is obviously the big headline things, news grabbing. It's been in the news a lot. But this is another cost on top of that. But the issue is local authorities don't have a choice about the spending because they have statutory duties placed upon them by Westminster that even if, as is the case with Kent County Council, they are the council with the highest amount of social care spending for asylum seekers because they have the majority of unaccompanied asylum-seeking children. They come straight into Kent on the small boats crisis. As soon as they set foot in Kent, they become the legal responsibility of the council, and the council has to spend money to look after them. Now, with Kent County Council in the last local elections, there was a reform councillors that came in, voted in on a mandate to try and address the asylum seeker crisis and try and get spending down and cut costs and start fixing potholes, start picking up bins, maybe start reducing council tax. What Kent County Council has found is the statutory obligations that they have no control about. They have no control over their budgets because they are open-ended obligations. They keep going up. As soon as children step in and the rate of children is going up, there's more and more children each day, they keep having to spend money and they have no control over their budget.
And not exactly flush. Local authorities
they are not exactly flush. No, local authorities across the country are finding that they have no money because it's not just statutory obligations for asylum-seeking social care. It's also broader social care obligations, which is why across the country, local authorities are putting council tax up.
And these legal obligations have been something which have bedeviled the whole discussion. Like even with the hotels, when the Epping hotel was being fought in court, that was the key argument, is that we have this legal obligation to house them somewhere to stop them falling into destitution, and therefore we have to put them up here regardless of what the local authority or the local MP or even government ministers say about it. So what a mess. Chris, have you got any thoughts or questions about this particular bit of research?
Well, when I think of social care, I always think of nursing homes and the elderly. I don't so much think of kids, but obviously that's an aspect of it. I mean, I've got less of a problem with the kids coming over on small boats than I do the young men, I have to say. This might be costing us a lot of money looking after the kids, but we've got so many doctors, engineers and so on. The adults
all comes out in the wash.
Paying a lot of high rates of tax. Working hard, it's probably a wash, isn't it?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned the children thing, that you feel it's not that big of a deal having these children.
Well, I feel a lot more sympathetic.
You feel a lot more sympathetic.
Not all of them will actually be children, though.
Exactly.
To be fair.
That's the thing, is you have these people crossing the channel who are throwing their documents away. And
what social care do they need if they're actually 25?
If they're actually 25, but they're claiming they're under 18.
Well, what do they get special that an actual 25?
They get a lot higher levels of care. If you come over as an adult,
Yeah.
The levels of social care that you get are minuscule in
Well, you get
comparison.
to go in a hotel.
Get to go in a hotel,
It's
sure.
not too bad.
Yeah.
Whereas
Meal.
a fake child gets what?
They will get vast levels of support. They'll obviously get access to education, health, everything. They will be in care homes. Everything that we spend on looking after children in this country who in the care system, the full sort of package to raise those children to adulthood. And it's not just once they've hit 18, they have support up until the age of 25. So they will, if they want to go to university, they'll have support through university.
Oh, really?
Whatever support they need to then become basically functioning members of society.
Doctors,
that's the
engineers,
goal.
etc. Yeah.
They have the level of support. And it's the fact that they have, councils have the legal obligations to provide that. But as Tom mentioned, it's 20% of channel crossings are children. Right?
Children.
One in five is children.
Yeah.
Now, 20% of that 20% is found out to not be children. And those are the people that we can prove that they have claimed to be under the age of 18 and they're not.
Right.
Now, obviously, I think there is a matter of, for the children that are in it, you don't want to take away support. It's quite a cruel policy. As you said, there is sympathy for those children. But to me, the way to deal with this is it has to be central government who are placing these obligations on the councils, taking responsibility for it and paying for it.
I've got a better idea. You know those height things that you have before you go on a roller coaster? Rather than ask people how old they are, just see how tall they are.
Just measure it purely on height.
If you are below this height, you can claim benefits, but you can't go on roller coasters.
So the incentives line up perfectly in that situation.
Oh, yeah.
They're thinking to themselves.
Just do it on the basis of height. You know, when we say children, we mean, we've had this discussion before on this podcast.
What is this in the trial?
16 and 17. No. 16 and 17-year-olds aren't children. You know, when Wayne Rooney was playing for Everton at the age of 16, no one said, "Oh, look at that child. He's scoring a hat-trick in the Premiership." It's not a child. Everything should be 16 across the board. Smoking, gambling, drinking, and being a bloody child refugee should all be 16. And in the case of asylum seekers, should be height-based.
What if they're just older but short, Chris? What if they're older but just a bit short?
Well, there's always going to be edge cases. We'll deal with them, on a case-by-case basis.
Well,
I think we've solved that